YouTube? I'm back. This is going to be Sex Talk 101, episode 67 or 68. Today's a very special episode. This is not just any episode. This is going to be the episode of all episodes. Now, my old YouTube channel, I did young women versus older women. I probably will make a sequel to that in the future for our summer video. But today, we're going to make a special series that needs to be made. Because it's been brought to my attention that there's a lot of men from the age of 18 to 29 that don't understand why they can't get beautiful, attractive women in their life. And I'm here to make that video that it's my own version of it. It's going to be younger men versus older men. I repeat, younger men from the ages of 18 to 29. I guess we're going to have to put from the ages of 18 to 35, 18 to 35 versus men that's in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because those are all the guys that are taking all the beautiful, hot, attractive women from you. And it has to get broken down into 5 videos. Because I can't explain all of it in one video. One video would not explain the phenomenon. It would have to take 5 videos to explain this phenomenon. Now, let's talk about when you're a victim of circumstances in high school and college. And why most men complain when they talk to beautiful, attractive women, but nothing seems to go nowhere. Now, if you're from the ages of 18 to 29, or if you're from the ages of 30 to 35, you're welcome to watch this YouTube video. Doesn't matter if you're a black man, a white man, a Latino man, or an Asian man. Hell, it doesn't matter if you're from Russia, Germany, Paris, France, planet Mars. As long as you're a heterosexual man, this video's for you. Now, there comes a time in life when every man fails. Somewhere in your life, you have failed at something. Whether it was to try to get on the basketball team, the football team, you thought you was going to make a video game, you thought you could go to the New York Stock Exchange and try to do stocks and bonds, you thought you could have your own bodybuilding school, you thought you was going to become a screenwriter, a film director, race a race car, or you thought you was going to go to another country and speak a language. Somewhere in your life, you had failed at something. And you look back on it and you say, if you wish that if I had more time, it would have been done if it weren't for all this other stuff. Now, you might say, Alex, what the hell does this have to do with the opposite sex? It has a whole lot to do with it. Because a lot of times, time gets wasted. And a lot of time and energy gets wasted on women. You know, we all go to the nightclubs and the bars thinking we're going to get laid by a female. And then we don't realize we talk ourselves out of not getting laid. We talk ourselves of getting rejected. We sabotage ourselves into trying to move to the next level and the next level and the next level. And we don't realize this until we get a guy that's probably, 47, 48, 50, 52, 54, 57 years old, 60 years old, comes in and tries to explain to us that the reason why you're not advancing to the next level and the next level and the next level is because you don't have no experience. It's because you don't know what the hell you're doing. It's because you're playing around and you're not serious. And we look at these older men like, what the hell are you talking about? And you see, by the time you approach 30 years old, a lot of these guys expect you to already have a house, a car, a job, save some money up, and then you can go after all the beautiful, attractive women. Now, that is true. But, and I say but because there's always a but in these movies, a lot of the older men do sometimes sabotage you. Now, I know you might spit out your water, you might spit out your Pepsi, your Coca-Cola, your Mountain Dew. You might even spill out your apple juice or orange juice. Now, I'm going to say it again. A lot of older guys that are in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, a lot of times they will sabotage you. And the reason for that is quite simple. It is a tradition of a cycle that repeats itself over and over and over again. And the reason why they do that is because once upon a time, when they were in their 20s and 30s, somebody from another generation came in and sabotaged them from getting beautiful, attractive women. Now, the reason why you can't get beautiful, attractive women from the ages of 18 to 29 isn't just because you don't know how to talk to women. I mean, that is a reason why you don't get women, is because you don't know how to talk, and that you're not physically, sexually attractive. It ain't just because of those things. A lot of times it's because the older guy had to sit around for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, extreme cases, 25 to 30 years. Those guys had to sit around and wait for someone to give them their golden opportunity. And when they get their golden opportunity, they want their 4 slices of grandma's homemade apple pie. All of us want 4 slices of grandma's best homemade apple pie. And a lot of times we don't get it. You get rejected in high school for 4 years. So that's like 100 rejections in 4 years of high school. You go to college. Well, if you go to college for 4 years, then you get rejected again. That's another 100 rejections in 4 years. In 8 years, that's like almost 200 to 300 rejections in an 8-year period, because you keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over again. And the guys that are in their 50s, and their 60s, and their 70s, they know from personal experience, they know why you got rejected 4 years in a row in high school. They even know why you got rejected all 4 years in college. But what they're waiting for is for you to figure that out for yourself before they have to sit you down and explain to you the rules of the game that you're playing. There's 2 games that you play. There's play to get pussy, and then there's their favorite personal game, the game of life. When you gonna get a house? When you gonna get an apartment? When you gonna get a car? When you gonna get 2 jobs, 3 jobs? When you gonna go from a job to a career? When you gonna make money and save money? When you gonna grow up and be serious and get ready for the future? The game of life. We all have to get told that speech. And it doesn't matter if you're a black man, a white man, a Latino man, or an Asian man. Now, think of the older guys as basketball coaches, general managers, franchise owners. And think of these guys as living legends. Guys that have been around for years and years. And we're like rookies who just got drafted into the NFL, drafted into the NBA, drafted into the baseball league, the hockey league. And a lot of times we get called rookie. Oh, you're just a kid. Oh, he doesn't know any better. Oh, go try again. And sometimes these older guys might take shots at you. They might say shit like, well, it's actually good that you got rejected. And you probably might look at these men that's in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s. What the fuck do you mean it's good that I got fucking rejected? Rejection is painful and it hurts. What the hell do you mean it's a good idea that I got rejected? Ain't nothing exciting about being rejected by a beautiful black woman, white woman, and Latino woman. And what this older men are trying to show me and you is that life is very funny. 1 minute, women like you. The next minute, women hate your fucking guts. You might talk to a black woman, and the black woman might have a look on her face like, fuck off. So you go talk to a white woman. White women tell you the same thing, fuck off. You go talk to a Latino woman, an Asian woman. You might talk to a woman that's mixed, and they all give you that look, fuck off. Now, you might think it's because they don't find me physically, sexually attractive. That's one reason. You might say, well, it's because I ain't got no house and no car. Again, that's another reason. Oh, they don't like me because I'm black. Well, again, that's another reason. And a lot of the older guys will tell you, well, that's only 50% of why these women don't want to be bothered by you. The other half of it is you just don't have no experience with women. Now, when you see an older guy get a woman that's from the ages of 20 to 29 years of age, that's considered women that's in their prime. The reason why they're able to get these women and they're in their 50s and 60s and 70s a lot of times It's because these guys have seen everything. They have done everything. They have been around the world. They have actually traveled. They have gone to Japan. Me and you talk about Japan. These men have went to Japan. They have went to China. They have went to Mexico. They have went to Canada. We talk about it, but they actually been to those places. We say, I'm going to go to the gym and get into athletic shape. These guys are in athletic shape. We talk about getting in athletic shape. Now, the truth is you might be in athletic shape, but that guy understands how to work out. We talk about putting in 8 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours on the job. Those guys work those types of hours. Those guys can do 40, 45, 50 hours on a job. And look at us and say, you only scratched the mere surface. Now, for the sad part on why you being from the age of 18 to 29 is a painful cycle. For almost 14 years in your 20s, you're going to face constant rejection from women all the time. And you see, what happens is it's like a trade-off. Those guys that are in their late 40s, and I say late 40s, like 48, 49, guys that are in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, they get to have sex with women from the ages of 20 to 29 years of age. And those guys have figured out how the math and the science work. The reason why you don't see those men date women that are 18, 19, 20, 21 is because at 18 years old, 19 years old, all the girl want to do is play. She just want to have fun and just play. You know, she want to get tattoos, piercings, go see some movies. You know, she want to go have fun. Stay up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, smoke, drink, do drugs. She just want to have fun. And those men understand something that me and you fail to see 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They've seen something we fail to see. They've seen that a woman, if she's 18, 19, 20 years old, for the first 3 years, you really can't do anything with that girl. You can't even take her to a nightclub where it's the legal age 21 or over 21. She can't even leave to go to Canada, Mexico, Japan. You can't take her nowhere for 3 years. So messing with a girl that's 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, there's not much you can do for 3 years. That's 3 years of you sitting there that you can't do anything. And if she's in college, she has to go to college for 4 years. She might want to go to medical school. She might want to go to law school. And you don't want to interfere with her education. Now, I know a lot of you young guys are going to say that's bullshit, and it is bullshit. But hear me out. For those 4 years, what can you do with a girl if she's from the ages of 18 to 21? There's not too much you can do. Now, you might say, well, I'm going to try to have sex. Well, that don't work because she going to want to have sex with guys her own age. Now, for the answer that they don't tell you until you get in your late 30s, early 40s, that's when the men that's in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s just straight out give you 90% of the answers that you were at a complete disadvantage at when you were at the age of 18 to 29. And the rule is you got to be 35 or over 35 for them to tell you all the answers. See, if you're 30 years old, they're going to say you're too young. You might say, what if I'm 31, 32, 33 years old? You're still too damn young. You might say, what if I'm 34 years old? They might tell you one or two of the answers at 34. The rule is, and I didn't make this rule up, this rule's been around before I was born. You got to be 35 or over 35 for the men that are in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s to give you the answers. To give you 90% of the answers. That is, you are supposed to date women from the ages of 22 years of age to 30. Because when you try to go after a girl that's 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old, 90.999% of us bitch and complain like little crybabies. Oh, the girl didn't call me back. Oh, the girl didn't text message me. Oh, she didn't respond to my Facebook messages. And then you go confront her in person and say, it's been 3 weeks, why you ain't responding to my Facebook message? As if she's supposed to answer you. She's not going to answer you. She's going to look at you like you're stupid, like you just now realized that it's been 2-3 weeks later that I really had no interest in you. And you see, when women do that, women want to see you get angry and frustrated. Women want to see how emotional, or my favorite word, she want to see how much of an emotional punk bitch you are when she don't give you what you want. Trust me, it's been done to me plenty of times in the past. Oh yeah, it's happened to me in high school. It's happened to me in college. Hell, I'm 33 years old and I've had at least 2 bunny rabbits that have tried the shit on me in the workforce. One of them got away with it. The other one, I'm making sure she don't ever get the opportunity. And I'm telling you, I'm making sure she don't get the opportunity. You see, when you go back to a woman that's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, sometimes 22 years old, they'll laugh at you and say, well, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. What she trying to say in translation is, why did it take you so long for you to figure out that I really didn't like you like that? That I just see you as a friend, or I just see you as a coworker. And you see the men that's in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, they know why you're not getting anywhere with females. Because they used to experience that. And when they see you repeat the same thing they've done, that's when the older guys try to sit us down and explain to us, well, the reason why you ain't getting no pussy in high school and college is because you keep trying shit that's from movies, television shows, stuff that doesn't ever work in the real world. You don't know because ain't nobody told you. They don't tell you in your 20s. They wait until you get 29, if you're lucky, and that's if you're ever lucky. They wait until you get between the ages of 35 to 40 years old, sometimes 42 years old, to tell you the answers. And when you get to those ages, you're shaking your head like, why do you wait until it's almost a decade and a half to 2 decades later to tell me that I was always at a disadvantage? Because they wanted you to have a chance to figure this out. And you see, there's a quote that came from Batman Forever where the Riddler told Two-Face that if you kill Bruce Wayne, he'll never learn nothing. So all the guys that's in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s, they know 90% of the information can help you. The problem is they figure you'll never learn anything if someone's always giving you the answers to your problems in life. So you're going to go all your 20s and some part of your 30s constantly falling flat on your ass, constantly trying to figure out why you can't move up in the company, at work, why you're not getting nowhere at your job, why I'm not getting nowhere with women, why every time I make money it feels like I'm not making no money. They have all the answers to those questions. The thing is, they want you to figure that out for yourself. And once you get 35, 40, 42 years old, that's when they start telling you 90% of the information that can be used to help you get to the next level and the next level and the next level. So then you say to yourself, let me get this straight. These guys wait until it's 15 years later, a decade and a half, or 2 decades later, just to tell me what I need to help myself? And the answer is yes. Now, when I say sabotage, that's what I mean by sabotage. And what you don't get is they don't want you to surpass them. They don't want you to advance to a level that they could never advance when they were in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s. See, when I make part 2 is going to be about why that generation is jealous of our generation. Why they think it, why they take it personal. Now, let's talk about when you get leftovers, what that's really about. When you're arguing with older men that's in their 50s, their 60s, and their 70s, it's only about 3 things in this world, and 3 things: money, respect, and pussy. I'm going to say it again. There's only 3 things that you're arguing with an older man that's in his 50s, 60s, and 70s. Money, respect, and pussy. And when it comes to those three, those are the three complaints that you complain about. Grandpa, this girl blew me off at work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, grandson. Translation, there's a reason why she blew you off, and I know the answer to that. But he's not going to tell you until you get to 35 or 40 or 42. You're lucky if they tell you at 30 years old. You're very lucky if they tell you at 30. You got to do something very good to be told at 30 years old 90% of the information. You have to be very lucky. Because even at 30, they might go, I don't know if he's ready to hear the information. I don't know if this youngster can hang with us. That's how the guys in their 50s and their 60s and 70s think of you and me. I'm just letting you know. And you see, the females, when you get leftovers, you ever ask yourself a question? When men from the ages of 18 to 30 brag about having sex, you're not having sex with women from the ages of 18 to 29. You're having sex with women that have already hit the wall at stage 1 and at stage 2. You're already having sex with women that are 35 years old, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 years old. You're having sex with women from the last 4 generations. So you get your fathers and your grandfathers' leftovers. So when you get these older women that hit on young white men, young black men, young Latino men, you're getting your fathers and your grandfathers' leftovers. Why somebody like your father or grandfather of that description are getting women from the ages of 18 to 29. So they get women that's in their prime, which is supposed to be reserved for me and you. And you know why they're getting those type of females? Because they know something that we don't know. They know the math and the science we don't. They figured out, well, I'm going to mess with a girl that's 22, 23 years old. And you see, that's how they figure out how to get the girl not to play mind games. That's how they figure out how to get the phone number, and they don't get played. When they get the phone number, the girl actually calls. You complain and say, why is she not giving me the phone number? Why is she not responding? Why is she respond to this old man that's in his 50s or his 60s or his 70s? Why in the hell are these older guys getting grandma's apple pie when it's supposed to be reserved for me? Because those guys have experience. We don't have no experience. And the experience that we think we have, they say, oh, you're just a rookie. Oh, you just got lucky. That ain't nothing, youngster. You know, I could do that. And that's why you get your fathers and your grandfathers leftovers. So you get forced from the age of 18 to 30 years of age, you get forced to have sex with women that have already hit the wall at stage 1 and stage 2. And it ain't until you get 35 or 40 or 45 years old that you start to get women that's from the ages of 20 to 25 or 26, 27, 28 years old. It ain't until you get to those ages that you start to get women that's in their prime. Because all the older men are taking all the younger, hotter women from you. Now, it ain't until a woman gets around 25 or 26 years old that she actually says, I want an older man. See, girls that are 18, 19, 20, 21, all those rich guys, they exclude women of those ages because not only that they're too young, they can't do nothing with them. I can't take her to Mexico. I can't take her to Canada or Japan because she can't leave the state illegally. Because that's a federal offense. You can go to federal prison. So what guys that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s do is they try to talk to women from the ages of 22 to 30 years old or ages 25 to 30 years of age. That's how come those guys don't get played. And people like me and you, we get played like a violin. Because they figured out the math and the science. They figured out if I date a woman that's 23, 24, 25, she already knows what the hell she wants. So I don't have to worry about her saying, well, I don't know you. Now, that doesn't mean that they always get sex, but what it means is they have an 80% chance success rate of getting the girls than we do. And you see, when I say sabotage, what I'm saying is they could tell you at 18, 20, 25 years old how to get girls your own age. The problem is those guys didn't ever get to date women of those ages when there was the same age group as us. So in a way, you're being sabotaged because to them, well, I ain't never got to date a beautiful, attractive woman in my 15, 20 years in life. So why should your ass get that opportunity? So in a way, your opportunities get taken by guys in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s. And what you don't understand and what you don't get is when you get to 50, when you get to 60, and when you get to 70, you're going to repeat the same history all over again. You're going to say, well, I hate these older guys. They always get the hottest chicks. But once you get to those same ages, you're going to do the same thing. Because you're going to say, well, I never got to date beautiful, attractive women in my 20s and my 30s. I had to wait until my late 30s to mid 40s, early 50s to get good-looking women. Because when I tried to get them in my 20s and 30s, they wouldn't let me get them. You're going to do the same thing to the next generation of men. Because it's being done to me, it's being done to you. And when you figure out how come you fail in high school, how come you fail in college, that's our fault. But when you get rejected at the gym, at the park, it's still your fault, but they know why you're not getting anywhere and they don't want to tell you. And you see, if they tell you, you'll be trying to fix the problem so it doesn't happen ever again. Now, when you get someone's mother or grandmother hitting on you, those guys don't care that you're having sex with women that's in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. As terrifying as it is, they don't care if you're having sex with a woman that's 70, because you're getting women that don't nobody want. And they're getting women that everybody wants, women from the ages of 18 to 29. The thing is, you never see them go after a girl that's 18, 19, and 20 or 21 because they figured the math and the science is for the first 3 to 4 years, you can't do nothing with a girl that's 18, 19, 20, 21. So they go after girls that's 22, 23, 24 to make sure it's safe. They go after a girl that's 25, right in the middle of her prime. So they don't have to worry about, oh, she gave me a fake phone number. Oh, she gave me a fake email address. Oh, she won't come to lunch. It's been 2 hours. She stood me up at lunchtime. Oh, it's dinner. She ain't come for 3 hours. I take her to the park. She still ain't come for 3. That's how come they're able to do all that stuff and they don't get rejected not one single time. And if they do get rejected, they don't lash out in anger and rage like how I or you would. Because they have enough common sense to understand that, okay, all good things must end eventually come to an end. But when you're getting sabotaged, the same guy that's telling you, oh, just wait your turn, don't worry, one day your time will come. What they mean by one day your time will come, they mean you're going to be somewhere in your late 40s, early 50s, and that's when you're going to get your chance. Basically, you're just going to be stealing women from the next generation of men. So when they reference and they say in translation, don't worry, your time will come, what they mean to say is you're going to be stealing women from the next generation because nobody lets you have beautiful women in your life when you were in your 20s or in your 30s. So when you get to your 40s and your 50s, you want your 4 slices of grandma's apple pie. That's how come you look at the generation gaps and you be trying to figure out who wins. Older guys win the pussy lottery. That's what I'm going to call it, the pussy lottery. Older guys win, and younger guys like me that's in their 20s and 30s, we lose. You know, yeah, you have sex with a girl that's 40 or 50 or 60, but you lose. Because that's your father's and your grandfather's leftovers. You know, when guys get 50 or 60 or 70 years old, they don't want to date women the same age as them or older. If you're 50, you want to date a woman that's 25 to 30. If you're 60, you want to date a woman that's 40. And if you're 70, you want to date a woman that's 50. Because you don't want to date no one the same age as you or older. So who's actually stealing the women that's in their prime from you are guys that are already 50. already 60, already 70. And they tell you, well, when you get a house or an apartment, when you get a car, when you get a job, and you get yourself situated financially, women will pay attention to you. Yeah, when you get to the same age as they are, then women will pay attention to you. Or you can get a passport and go to another country. And part two, I'm going to talk about why they get pissed off when you try to cheat the system and why they have a problem with you trying to take shortcuts. Because you might say, well, if you're 50 or 60 or 70 years old, you mean to tell me it's okay for you to take a shortcut? But if I'm 25 or 30 or 35 years old, it's not okay to take a shortcut? Yeah, part one is some history to explain why you're not getting anywhere. Part two, we're going to touch on why they get jealous when you try to cheat the system of the pussy lottery. That's what I'm going to call it, the pussy lottery. So this is only part one of the video. I'll give you part two tomorrow and probably give you part three Sunday because I have to work in another 3.5 hours. So until then, peace.